but he with that shit. And as an OG, he always put us on game, so I respect him. So that's why I was like, you know, I chill, my bad. And my boy JB was in that hole. Shout out JB, you know. Who else? James was in that hole. Shout out my boy Sully, James. And yeah, so we were smoking, me, James, Rodney, we was all smoking in that hole. Well, one day when we came back, the guards were like, hey, we heard this and that, or somebody was snitching. They were like, we need to search your pocket. That same day, my ex-girlfriend at the time, she told me I had weed in my pocket, and she reached in my pocket when she took that shit out. And I was like, whatever. She's like, why the fuck you taking whatever, that shit to school, like a juvenile school? And I was like, whatever. Whole time I still had something in my shoe, so I wasn't even stressing it. And that same day, they said, we heard you were smoking, blah, blah, blah. They asked us to search our pockets. And when they searched us, I had the weed in my pocket. James had the lighter and shit. They arrested us both. That's a charge because that's having drugs on a Gallatin County property. Having drugs on it's a felony. Having drugs on a facility. We was in the back smoking. I don't think anybody, I'm not proud of this shit, but motherfuckers wasn't smoking in the juvenile. Like, we was doing that shit back there, and we'd go back to class hot in a bitch. Like, just laughing and shit, like, not giving no fucks. And I was 16, and I went, of course, I got that felony case. By this time, I had that case, I had a dope felony, like 2 misdemeanors, and then that was my second felony. I was 16, and when I was in the back, they called me to the front. They're like, there was a law there, and I say, what's up? Like, I always bucked. Like, what's up? Like, what you want to talk about? And they was like, we got another case for you. It's robbery. They say you stole somebody's like money and skateboard and some weak ass shit over there. I mean, it was true at the time, but that shit came back to me. So that motherfucker, I mean, he snitched because that, you know, that's just what motherfuckers do. I wasn't stressing that shit either. So I said, at the time I was like, I ain't do that shit. I ain't signing shit. Like, get the fuck out of here. And I go to the back like, what? And so I called another felony for robbery. So I was fighting 2 cases, right? 2 felony cases. Me and my boy James was in that bitch. He went home after like a week or 2. I was in that bitch for, I don't know. And then, so when it came down to it, I was going to court. By this time, my dad was working, but your people have to support you. And my dad didn't have a real job at the time because construction went down, so times was a little harder. The judge, I swear on my life, the judge told my dad he handicapped one time, and I flipped that whole, like, I told the judge, fuck you, like, who the fuck you talking to, bitch? Like, what? I don't disrespect women like that, but like, she was tripping. Like, you not finna call my dad handicapped. My dad's the OG. I respect him to the fullest. My dad would slap me right there for not checking her or like not stepping up. What? So I said, what? Next, code 3, they stood, slammed my ass. I'm bucking that whole, what? They ain't finna disrespect my people like that. And I caught 2 cases like that. They asked me, since we were smoking and shit, they was like, you want to go to rehab? But we used to run like Bakota used to go there. It was like Bay Area Council of Drug and Alcohol. They used to come and give us like tests to see if you fit for rehab and shit. Well, they was trying to get me to go to rehab. A lot of people, that's like your second chance. You just go to rehab for 3 months. Adam House, UVA. There was another one. Eddie Price, he was on a bus. He went through the gate. That boy, wild in the motherfucker. Shout out to my Island boys, 2900. And shit, they said they looked at my cases and they were like, fuck that, fuck the rehab. You finna sign for level 5 or you finna go to TYC. That's what it is. And I heard Peso was at a placement called the Gulf Coast Trade Center. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm trying to go there. Bro over there, motherfuckers was over there. And I heard you can get a license there, a driver's license, you can get a trade, and you was fucking bitches. Like, what? That shit sound epic. My dad even went to New Waverly when he was a kid, and then he went to TYC too, so I been knew about that hole. So I was like, I'm trying to go to Gulf Coast. If you been to Gulf Coast, shit, let me know if you hit any holes or like that hole was decent, right? Well, they saw the cases, they said, nah, you not going to no motherfucking Gulf Coast. And I was like, whatever. So I sat in the back, and by that time, everybody who went to level 5, when we got caught with that drugs, it was level 4. So level 5 was the boot camp, but you stay there. Like, it's 9-month sentence. And then you got to stay in the back and wait for a bed. So you probably do like 12 months, 15 months off the strength. And there was only like a handful of beds, maybe like 8 to 10, 8 beds. It's like 8 men in the juvenile over there in Geektown County. It was kind of small for level 5. And in my mind, I was like, you know what? I probably should go to the Y. Because, you know, Y, TYC. So I'm going to the Y because everybody that go to level 5 going to the Y anyways. So I might as well jump the gun and just go to the Y and get the time over with. Let me do my 9 months because people in TYC 9-month mandatory, and you just, my bad, I'm spitting. I got a girl so making me talk too with a list. So I was like, fuck it, you know, let me just go to TYC, get that shit knocked out, swipe the record, and then I come out like as an adult. Because by that time I was pushing 16 going on to 17 in a sense. So there was like that and that. But by the time I went to court, after like 3 or 4 months of sitting back there, they said a bed opened up for level 5. You just go there 9 months. They said TYC is cop out. So you might do 2 years because if you thug hard in that hole. Or, you know, shit like that. So I was like, I had a little girl at the time, not a daughter, but a little girlfriend at the time. She wanted me home and shit. So I was like, I took the level 5 placement. I went there. Who was in that hole? My boy Lil Tony from Tech City, my boy Adam, Zeno, RP Zeno, my boy Zach, Free Zach. I swear, bro, I ain't been home since, I don't think. His name Lil Show. His dad Showtime, if y'all know him, shout out them boys from there. They, bro, chatted like a motherfucker now. And he had Briscoe. Who else was in that bitch? Your people had to bring you soap in there. My people ain't bring me soap. I ain't get no visits at the time. My dad's mentor was like, I ain't put him there, so I ain't finna go see him. He'll see me when he get home. So I did like a 12-month, 15-month stretch when I was 16 with no visits or nothing. That's why I got that ball out. I grew up in a system where I ain't never get no visit. Father fighting cases that my mom was up in prison. Whole time my mama was in prison this whole time. That's a whole nother story. I'll break that down. We used to write each other from prison. My boy Gilbert G, he was in Ham Listener too. He was writing me from, we was writing from jails to jails. I was writing jail to jail, jail to jail. And shit like that was happening. And level 5 was easy. It wasn't like thugging because we was like a brotherhood. Like we would argue all the time, but we know at the end of the day we gotta go lay down in the same rooms and shit. And that was in 2012 because I remember the Ravens played the Ravens won the Super Bowl against Colin Kaepernick and all them. Well, I got out of level 5. I was out for 2 months. Went to this other school to catch up on credits. Got caught with like 10 mollies at the school again. Went to adult jail and I was 17 years old. Went to adult Geektown County. And then I'll go from the story from there. Good seeing y'all. Jules, my name's Jules, by the way. Yeah.